Trust me, if you want to save money, you want to be on your financial freedom journey, you want to get wealthy, this is the best way to do it. House hacking is basically the concept of living in your home and you're having a tenant, whether that be in the same house as you or on a different unit as you, pay to cover ideally or a portion of your total mortgage. So a popular way to do it is you buy anything like a duplex, triplex, or fourplex. You live in one of the units and the other 3 units pay for your unit. So you're essentially living for free. This is a great strategy. Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it, but I think there is a better way to do it. And the reason why like the duplex, triplex, fourplex strategy is so popular, and I feel like it really hit a big stride back when like Bigger Pockets was huge. Like Bigger Pockets podcast is like a big real estate podcast. When that blew up was because a lot of people didn't know that the same mortgage you use to buy a home like this is the same one you use for a duplex, triplex, or fourplex. So it's kind of like a very niche way to get a lot of units, but without having to apply for like a commercial loan. So you get the units, but you still get the nice residential loan. So it's like a win-win. Now, this strategy is great if you want to get a lot of units. And a lot of people say do it for your first property. I actually don't think this is the best way to house hack on your first property. Why? Because real estate is actually harder than people think. Like, a lot of people think it's just like you buy a house and the tenant pays for everything. You have all this money coming in, it's free money. Yeah, I'm going to be rich. It's not like that. You got tons of expenses. You got to save a ton for the down payment. Stuff like breaks, tenants don't pay. There's a lot going on. The reason why I don't prefer the multi-unit house hacking strategy first is because it's when you're buying a house that's more expensive, you're taking on more debt. I'm a big proponent of, like I said, starting with as little debt as possible, something affordable and smaller. So when you have more debt, that's more risk. Also, you're going from never being a real estate investor, never managing a rental property, to now you're going to have potentially 3 tenants to manage. That's a lot harder than people realize. So that's another reason. Also, since you're buying potentially 4 units, it's a big property. So all the maintenance is going to be bigger. When something breaks, it's going to be bigger. Like, all of these issues just multiply. And if it's your first one, like, you just want to start easy. You want to like ease your way into real estate, because if you start bad, it's going to be too hard. You're going to hate it. You want to start very easy. So what do I recommend? I think the best strategy for house hacking is to buy a property, so a house, a condo, a townhouse, in an area that you want to live in yourself, that you're gonna live in, and buy it in a way that you can either add extra rooms or already has enough room to rent out the individual rooms. I know some of you guys are gonna be like, oh no, I don't want a roommate. Trust me, if you want to save money, you want to be on your financial freedom journey, you want to get wealthy, this is the best way to do it. Because 2 different ways. One, if you buy a house with multiple units, or a condo, whatever, with multiple units, obviously it's very simple. You can rent out those units and you're still going to live for free, but now you don't have a huge multifamily house that you have to take care of. Number 2, with that same strategy, is you're going to be living in a better area. Because again, when you have like money that's kind of fixed, if you buy a big multifamily, that's most likely going to be in a less desirable area. If you buy a house that you do like, or a condo that you do like, and it's in like the city center, it's close to your job, and you can rent it out to like your buddies, your friends, your sister, your brother, that's just more of a win-win, because you're going to own the house that you love, and it's way more manageable, instead of these random stranger tenants who don't care about you. They don't care if they pay. Your house is not going to be as nice, like a bad location, so it's just not worth it. And another reason why I think this is a better way to house hack your first property is I think you can learn a little bit more about investing, because you're going to look a little differently. And so the absolute best way to do it is, let's say you can afford a 2-bedroom house or a 2-bedroom condo. I'm just going to say house from now on, but again, it could be a condo or a townhouse or a single family, whatever. You want to buy a 2-bedroom that's like a big 2-bedroom that you can maybe add in a 3rd bedroom. Why do you want to look at it like that? Because the way real estate is priced, properties with more bedrooms, more bathrooms, those increase the value, those increase the demand, because one, you can rent it out for more and people with bigger families want them. So you're kind of looking for like a gap in the market where you have a 2-bedroom that can fit 3 people or 4 people in it. Not saying you necessarily have to, but that's how you want to look at it, because it's going to be priced as a 2-bedroom, but you can get the rent of a 4-bedroom. So now you're living in one room, which is one unit. And that's another thing people don't realize. Like, if you're renting out the rooms, you have to think of those as units. There's no difference between a unit in a multifamily and a unit as in multiple rooms. So you're living in one of the rooms, one of the units, and you're renting out the other 2 or 3. In that situation, you're going to still get not only your rent paid for, you're probably going to make a lot more money, because you can charge way more proportionally to the mortgage that you'll most likely get. You can charge way more on the mortgage that you'll most likely get on a property that you're going to like live in a more desirable area that's not this huge 4 unit. So you have 2 to 3 people paying your mortgage and you're making way more money. I know a lot of people who house hack like duplexes or triplexes or fourplexes, like they don't necessarily get their full mortgage paid. They may get like 70%, 80%, but sometimes it's not full. If you're renting out the rooms, you will get your full mortgage paid, no question. Like, for example, this is my condo. This is a 3-bedroom. I didn't add any rooms onto it, but it came like a 3-bedroom. If I rented out 2 of the rooms, it would be more than the mortgage. So just those 2 rooms alone, it would be more. I'll be making money. And behind the camera is a dining room. If I really wanted to, I could turn this into 4 bedrooms. Not saying that I want to do that or I would do that, but you see the picture. So now this whole room by itself would just be additional cash flow in my pocket. So that's just what I think about house hacking. And I think that's the best way. Also, when you pick a more desirable area, not only is it going to be that you like, close to your job, it's most likely going to appreciate more in value, because you know the trendy area, the hip area. Now you can live there. You're living there for free. You're making money, and it's going to appreciate more in value. Appreciation means the value of the property is going up over time. So I just think that's the best way to house hack. And yeah, another reason why that's the best way to house hack is because since you're going to have a property in a better area, cooler area, more hip area, better location, you're going to get better tenant quality. When you use a duplex or a triplex or a fourplex, you're going to have to pick a lesser area, and that's going to decrease the tenant quality, and you're going to run into issues. And like the 2 most important things when investing in real estate is finding deals and good tenant quality. If you don't have those 2 things, you can't be an investor. So by buying in a better area and renting out the rooms, your tenant quality is going to change dramatically, and it's going to get so much better, and you're going to be 10 times more likely to get paid the rent that you're owed. And also, again, another thing is, if that property value is going up in a better area, the rent's going to go up in the same area. So now the rent's going up faster, the property's appreciating faster, you have a lesser of a mortgage, you have less overhead. Like, you see how it's much better than the 3 to 4 unit. So that's just my pitch on the proper way to house hack that I think. But let me know in the comments, what do you think? Do you like the multi-unit strategy, or do you prefer to live in the unit and rent out to your roommates, etc.? Let me know, and thank you for watching.